So here we are in early August in the garden at Burncoose, and you might have thought that there wasn't much to see in a woodland garden in August, but you'd actually be completely wrong. And those of you who've got time to wander into the garden after you've seen the nursery will find some wonderful hydrangeas dotted about here. These were planted 30 or 40 years ago exactly to give people something to see in the summer months when the azaleas and rhododendrons and magnolias are all over. And I'm standing here beside an absolutely outstanding Hydrangea aspera villosa, or Hydrangea villosa. This is a Chinese plant which flowers late on in the summer, and as you can see, the butterflies and bees are literally queuing up to get the pollen and nectar off this hydrangea. And I can see at least 3 different sorts of butterflies and goodness knows how many different sorts of bees. And this is a real impact plant, a real spectacle, and it'll be out for about another 3 or 4 weeks, and then it'll gradually fade off. It's a plant about 8 foot tall and probably 12 or 15 foot wide, and as good a show as any rhododendron you might have seen here in the spring. So here's a different type of hydrangea. This is Hydrangea paniculata Vanille Fraise, and it starts off white and then quickly turns this lovely pink, and then finally it'll turn red. And of all the Hydrangea paniculatas that you'll see in the garden, I think this is a relatively new variety and a relatively small new clump. But you can already see the impact it's making with this colour change, which is really attractive. And this is a vigorous bush which will soon grow up to 5 or 6 feet tall with a similar width, and will be the spectacle to take you through summer on into autumn. So this is Hydrangea Joseph Banks, and there's quite a bit of history to this clump of hydrangeas. In 1896 there was an article in The Garden, which then as now was the monthly magazine of the Royal Horticultural Society, and in it the then occupant of Burncoose House, Mrs. McLaren, describes how Hydrangea Joseph Banks had been here for 30 years and the clump had 725 individual flower heads on the clump. So here we are, another 120 odd years on. The clump is still here. It's obviously been cut down to rejuvenate itself many times. There probably aren't 725 flower heads here, definitely there aren't, but the plant is still going as a tribute to Joseph Banks and indeed to Burncoose Garden. Amazing that something as simple as a hydrangea can have lasted that long. Another rather different sort of lace cap hydrangea. This is Hydrangea Fireworks, and it comes in pink and white and blue as you see here. And the reason for its name is just beginning to show here. And as the flowers fade, they turn from blue to speckled with red and orange, and the fireworks effect is really something you see long after the flower heads have finished. And that's the time when the flower heads are finished and when the colours have turned, that's the time when you would cut pieces of this hydrangea and dry them as a Christmas decoration or as a Christmas flower arrangement. But looking at it today in August, it's very unusual mix of colours, unusual to see these double florets around the edge of the central flower. Finally, on our little walk around today, we come to another lace cap, Hydrangea Sunset. And you can see here the contrast of colours between the flower before it opens and the flower when it's fully open. And this is a late flowering variety. If you look lower down the plant, you see how the colour change is even more pronounced. So we're starting purple and ending up pink, which is great. Many hydrangeas change colour, and I'm hoping I've persuaded you to take some time to come around the Burncoose garden. We've got 50 or 60 different varieties of hydrangea out in flower. Some are species, most are lace caps or mop heads. They come in all shapes and colours, and they're looking absolutely at their best. Burncoose garden is free to enter from the nursery, and I hope you'll have a day out and have a nice little look at our hydrangeas here.